Okay, here's a real talk video which didn't see myself making today, but obviously certain things that happen and you got to talk about it. I know that first of all, that stuff I'm saying, but it's not the subject matter, so to speak. In no sense is it bitterness towards the people or the subject matter in terms of what I'm just talking about, but it's just the way sometimes you become disillusioned and in a sense of the way you get treated in this world. And in this world, you just want to be treated by what you put in. So if you do positive stuff in terms of the way that you treat people, you get positive stuff. And if you do negative stuff, obviously you're gonna get crap from people because you get what you kind of put in. And this video is basically about attractive people, in a way how the world treats people about very differently. And again, it's no fault of people like that of their own. We're all kind of different in a sense of how we come out and how we look. Obviously, you can get surgery and do certain things to change the way you look, but generally speaking, I mean, you either well, by definition of what you may conform as being attractive is attractive and what isn't. But yeah, I've noticed that you get treated very differently if you are, especially if it's a very attractive woman. Like, for example, there's some women that I've seen or I've known and wherever I'm about, and sometimes especially if you know them and then you see people just swoon all over them and they're so friendly to them and so all over them simply just because of the fact that they are attractive. But yet you don't get treated in the same sense, in a sense that you can get stereotyped. So for example, I'll use my case study as an example because it's the best way of kind of explaining this situation. A lot of the time when I go inside shops, right, for example, the amount of times that I get stopped in the side of a shop, or I get accused of, for example, taking something, even though I actually haven't, and I've got the money to afford to pay for it anyway. And this happens for me happens on a regular basis, simply just because of the colour of my skin, and just simply because of the way that you look, that you're stereotyped in a negative persona. So that means that because you're black or whatever colour you are and you dress a certain way, that means that you're automatically going to that you're going to be a thief. Again, it's a negative thing. And as of all, this has been happening a load of times, and the amount of times that I've had to ring up, and this has been happening in really big real retail shops in the UK, and the amount of times that I've had to ring up the customer service and then go for it and have to complain about about how I've been treated. You just get totally just sick of it. And I'm the kind of person where I don't like having to complain or having to say, look, I'm being treated differently simply because of the colour of my skin or because of the way I look. And you get to also, some people use the term race card. I don't know, maybe some people do that to try and gain advantage, but I don't do that. And the amount of times that I've been in shops and I get accused of it, and I'll give you one example. I was in one shop, paid for this item, and the item was pretty heavy. So I had my shopping trolley on me because the item was heavy and quite big. There's no way I could carry it back. You know I was going to have to come out of the shop and obviously bust it all the way back to where I live. And there was a white couple, young couple. Obviously they pay for their stuff, they've come out of the shop, they're exiting the shop, should I say. And the security guys all smiling and all, being all courteous. And then ahead of me, shock horror, a very attractive woman. Again, same thing, they're sitting there smiling, the security guys all smiling away like anything, and all like he couldn't keep his tongue in his mouth. Anyway, as soon as I sit there, I'm about to exit. What happens? Then you can see in the guy's face guy's whole demeanour, that his face has just changed, and it's next minute, oh, did I pay for that? Where's the receipt? Blah blah blah, and they kind of look at it, and not even an apology when I said, look, I've paid for it. Here's the receipt. Blah 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 blah. But you see the example by how somebody just treats you completely and utterly different just because of the way you look. I sometimes get accused of being a drug dealer because they look at you and they think that you're a drug dealer. Again, for those who probably take drugs, that's entirely up to you, your lifestyle and what you wanna do. Not my bag. But again, you're stereotyped because people think that you are, which in my case is a negative thing. And it's horrible. You wouldn't sit there and see somebody going up to a white, attractive blonde woman and going up to her and going, oh, are you a drug dealer? Because they wouldn't dare do it. Because why would they? Because that person fit. Obviously, it's all attractive. But when you look a certain way, the way it looks a certain way, again, you get treated completely different. I mean, you get to a point where you kind of just get flipping. You get sick of it. And I was always raised by my mum to sit there, with rules and the way you treat others how you expect others to treat you. So I would never use people. I would never sit there and treat people like crap. Now, I'm not going to turn and put myself as the model perfect human being, because I'm not perfect. I've got my good points, I've got my bad points. I'm not a perfect human being. I make mistakes, I've got my bad faults. So what you see with me is kind of what you kind of get. And I always used to believe that it doesn't matter by whether you've got a lot of money, you look like you have got a lot of money, you're successful, the way you look. For me, I was always raised, and I used to believe, but it's the way for me that you treat people in this world that's the most important thing. I've even known people that have tried to buy friendship, which doesn't work. Well, can work if you've got enough money to last a lifetime, so to speak. But even when you have people that do that kind of thing, where they use money to buy friendships or to buy popularity, it's not a good thing, because those people are only using you because of what you kind of can give them. And then people like that, you have to be very kind of careful of those kind of people that you associate yourself with if you have money or you're popular. But it's the way in which that the world puts things as being popular, and if you don't sit there and you don't tick all the boxes, then the thing is, you're not popular, and people kind of just don't want to know you. And for me, it can be very heartbreaking when you just want to be who you are, and people don't want to sit there and give you the time of day in kind of judging you as a person. And if there's a part of you that's bad and they don't like, and they think, you know what, that person, I don't want to associate myself with that person, then that's fine. Maybe it's their loss, maybe it's true, but fair enough. You should be given the time to judge who you are. Even for me, I'm a very shy person. Kind of always have been. I always keep to myself. Especially with, believe it or not, back in my younger days, I used to stutter a lot. Sometimes I still do. When I'm extremely nervous. But that's who I am. But over the years, obviously, it's kind of got better. But trying to fit into, it's like sometimes you feel like that you don't fit in simply because you don't look and then you don't behave the part of what people necessarily want. So for example, even in school, I wasn't very popular because I was small for my age, and we didn't have a lot of money kind of growing up. Again, don't want to go into that because don't want the violins kind of playing in, and people thinking that I'm playing for sympathy, because I'm not. Because it's just things like that happen in life. Sometimes in life you just have to get on with it, no matter how hard it is. But it was always difficult for me growing up because you just wasn't popular, and because you didn't fit to what people wanted. And even with women, for example, where you could sit there and have a good heart and be a pretty decent person, maybe funny to some degree, but because you didn't conform to what people wanted, they just didn't kind of want to know you, which would explain why, obviously, when as you're older, a lot of the school friends that I know, obviously it's almost as if that they don't remember you, which I suppose, in fairness, they probably wouldn't, because again, you wasn't kind of popular. And for me, that's why these days I just keep myself to myself these days, and I just do what I have. It's almost as if I'm doing enough to kind of survive. As long as I can see, have a bath or a shower, or whatever it is. I've got a bed to sleep in, and I can feed my I can line my stomach with food. Then it's almost as if that I've become content with just having that now. And certain other luxuries in life, whether it's with friendships or relationships or even a family, it's like I've learned now that how old I am now, I've learned that unfortunately, is that you can't always have what you want or true happiness, or you have to learn to kind of let it go, because you can't kind of have it. But as I said, it's really horrible when, as I said before, you see some people where they're stunningly attractive, and I'm not saying that they're going out their way to do that on purpose to get what they want, but you just see people, as I said before, swoon all over these people, and they treat them differently just because that the person is attractive. I'll give you an example. If I was walking to a shop, as I've said before, and then obviously to buy something, and even if I didn't buy something, and then you had, for example, a woman who was attractive, it's pretty bloody obvious that it's more likely that I'm the one that's going to sit there and be followed or asked if I've done anything, if I've stolen anything, or whatever it is, simply because of the way I look, because you're not conventionally attractive. Whereas you see somebody where a woman that's got the perfect body, blonde, blue eyes, etc., and they fit what people would deem as being attractive, they get treated very, very differently just because that they're attractive. And as I said before, I've seen this on so many occasions, whether it's people I don't know, and when you're just observing people, or whether even if it's the particular person in question that you know them, and then you're just standing there observing that particular person, and then you're seeing the way that the people interact with them and being all chummy and smiling and being so super nice to them, just because they're attractive. And yet, if those same people didn't conform to the box, obviously ticking the box of what you conform as being attractive, I wonder if those same people would be treating those particular people the same way. Because I'm taking a kind of a wild guess here, and I would say no, I don't think they kind of would do. You know, people may think I'm wrong in saying this, but that's what I kind of believe, because I've seen it so many times now, and I've even spoken to one or two people who've said exactly the same thing that I've said. And as I said before, I'm not attacking the people for being attractive, nor am I being bitter towards the people being at it. I'm just sitting there and speaking out a observation, in the sense that the way you look in this world is that you're treated very differently. Or say if you're rich, or you got money, or you've got a form of power, or you got a sense of a form of power in some way, and then people treat you differently. But it does, just because you may have money, just because you may have power, just because you may be attractive, doesn't mean that you're a good person. As the old saying goes, all that glitters isn't gold. And for me, all I want, and it's a simple thing to ask, I just want to be judged for who I am as a person. I know, whether it's friendship, when it's in a relationship, or even say if you was going to start a family, I know I've got a lot to offer, a lot to bring to the table in offering in offering stuff to people. But when the world isn't kind of giving you that opportunity just because you don't conform and fit to the narrative of what people want you to be, you can't exceed your programming or the way you've been raised in a way. And that's why for me I've just kind of given up, And all I do is I just do enough to just survive in this world, because no matter how hard you try to be noticed, or you try to show people that you do have a lot to offer, or that can, you know, you could be a good friend or have good loyalty, or you could be that one person that woman might meet where she's been treated badly by a particular guy, and then you could be that one guy that treats that woman right, how a person should be treated. But the thing is, they're never going to give you that chance, because you don't conform or fit to what the narrative wants you to be. And that's the reason why, I suppose you could say that, why I have that kind of viewpoint on attractive people. Again, maybe there are some people attractive that know that they're like that, and, you know, use it to their advantage. But it's just what I found it so difficult in trying to do things in this world. And you see, you just get treated different. You get treated differently in this world, simply just for being different, which is no fault of your own. And as for it's very downhearted when you just want to be loved and liked for who you are and what you could bring to the table. So yeah, that's my real talk over.